This is Corey with DeadFM. I haven't had a show in a while because I haven't really done any interviews. But I'm sitting here now with Scott here. He's the one putting together the Chance for Kids Fest here in Tulare.
Hi, how's it going, everybody?
So let's just get right into it. Okay, so the show, when's it going to be? Where are you going to have it at? All that stuff.
Okay, so Chance for Kids is going to be a one-day hardcore fest at the Tulare Ag Center in Tulare, California. It's going to be September 6th, 2014.
Okay. And that date's like set.
Oh yeah, everything's all set
good?
and done, yeah.
Okay, well, what made you want to do the show? Like, it just kind of, I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. You just kind of started telling us one day, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? So, what made you want to do all this?
Long story short, so like you said, I have really no experience in throwing shows and stuff like that, but what basically happened was after I started dating my girlfriend, and once you start dating somebody, you start getting really close to their family. I started getting close to a certain individual named Noah, who's 5 years old, cool little kid, loves Minecraft, stuff like that. After a while getting to know him, I found out that he was going to have to do 6 weeks of radiation therapy at the Lucille Children's Hospital.
Oh, okay.
So that kind of broke my heart for a while, and I was kind of hanging out with this kid, knowing that for 6 weeks he's gonna have to sit alone in a hospital and just have to go through this crazy procedure to save his life. And it really bummed me out. I had spent 3 days in the hospital at the beginning of the year, and I thought I was gonna go insane, let alone having a 5-year-old kid who's never gone through anything like that have to fight for his life for that. So.
And things like radiation and stuff like that, they're hard for adults to go through, let alone a 5-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had family that's had to go through it, and it's a hard enough thing for a grown adult, let alone a kid having to go in and go through a long procedure like that.
And the thought of that he's going to a children's hospital where he's not going to be the only patient like that. There are thousands of kids at this particular hospital alone that are fighting for their lives. You know what I mean? I've never in the 26 years of my life have had to deal with something like that. So it really hurt for a while. And so a couple of weeks had gone by since I learned this news, and I found out that his elementary school raised $15,000 for his Make-A-Wish Foundation. And so that's going to send Noah and his entire family on a Disney cruise because he hasn't been able to do anything like that. Yeah, so in August he's going to be going for a week vacation, and I was like, wow, an elementary school of kids, none of them have jobs obviously and stuff like that, raised $15,000. I'm seeing 6th graders shaving their heads for a kindergartner to just back them and support them. And I thought that was so sick that a community got together behind one child, and I thought that was awesome.
And even kids that aren't in his daily life, like not even his best friends, they're just people wanting to help.
Exactly. And so that got the gears in my mind started thinking. It was like, okay, what can I do? I'm 26 years old. If a bunch of kids can raise something like this, what could I do? And so I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, I can't grow out my hair to donate to anybody because no one wants my hair. And I'm like, well, I don't have a really good job right now, so I'm like, what could I do? And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw a show. And just a small little show, a couple hardcore bands or something like that, just to raise awareness and raise money, obviously, for this hospital. And yeah, I started doing my research on this hospital, and just the overwhelming support they get from outside sources is amazing, man. I've seen these organizations getting together and backing this hospital and donating, and the awesome thing is the money doesn't go to this hospital, it's going directly to these kids, and it's giving them a life in the hospital. When these kids, I was talking to a kid the other day who is currently in isolation at the hospital, and I would be going nuts if I was stuck in there for 6 months. Yeah. It's not only is it, the biggest thing about this hospital that I love so much is that they aren't there just to cure the kids. I mean, obviously that's their main goal, but they're also there to preserve the lives that these children already have. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's teachers there going in there and teaching them, so they're doing homework, they're learning. They're
not just being put in a room.
Exactly.
And treated.
Exactly. They are being treated with love and support and care, and And I was like floored by that. I'm like, man, this hospital's sick. I want to do something for this hospital. So I told my girlfriend about how I wanted to kind of do like a show, just a benefit show and stuff like that. And my girlfriend isn't into hardcore, so she has no idea what it's about and stuff like that. So one day, her and I were talking about how I might throw this show, and she's like, I just don't get this. Help me understand. And so I showed her the Have Heart Edge Day Fest, their last set.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about that set is, obviously it's an amazing, incredible set. But the cool part is right after the first song, you see like a cop get up there, and it's like someone who's not involved in hardcore, has no idea what's going on, and it looks like a bunch of crazy kids, just going nuts. And Pat, the singer, says, yo, it may look like a bunch of crazy kids killing each other, but I just want to let you know, outside world here, we just raised $15,000 for a women's shelter. And I was like, bam, that is so sick. Like, $15,000 going to a cause, you know what I mean? And I just saw, and I was like, man, a bunch of kids did nothing but show up to a show, support hardcore, and $15,000 went to a charity.
Yeah.
That's so sick. I want to do that. And so my tiny little benefit show turned into, I'm going to throw a hardcore fest. And that's where it came from.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Because like ever since you started talking about it, like no one's really known the whole story behind it. Like you mentioned it here and there, but just kind of keeping everything together so you can let everything out at once. But
right.
I don't know. You weren't trying to be like, oh, I'm doing this fest for me. You were talking like, look, I'm doing it for these kids and nothing else. And it just keeps getting a little bigger and bigger every time like someone else confirms or something like that. And I'm really excited that you're doing this.
I'm stoked, man. And the cool thing is, so I got in touch with Lucille Packard Children's Hospital at Stanford University, and they have been just like so excited about it. They've been behind me 100%, just being totally supportive. And that's so cool because nobody in the outside world really knows like what a hardcore fest is, you know what I mean? And from the outside world we look like a bunch of punks going crazy.
It isn't something that can be easily described to someone who doesn't already know.
Exactly, but they see that, if there's just a couple of kids out like me out there in the world that care, for something like this, and they just like want to support that. And so they've been extremely supportive. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and in stuff like this, maybe not everyone's into going to shows just to go to shows, but this gives reason to a lot more people, gives them a reason to care about the show and go, even if they're not fans of all the bands, they can go and still support and be a part of it. Everyone that shows up to this fest is helping the cause, like not just you.
What a beautiful thing. It's like they don't have to do anything except show up and pit and have a good time, and that's it. Like, and even the bands, some of the bands that I've been talking to have just been so supportive. There are bands that are saying we will literally play for free. Like we will take time out of our jobs and out of our regular lives to show up and play this fest. And I was just floored by that. I thought that was awesome.
And the way that I'm starting to see it is you're not so much going at it as, oh, I'm a promoter or a booker. You're just starting like a one-day organization to give to the kids basically. And like you're taking nothing, like the bands aren't taking any more than what they need for gas or something like that. Like no one's being greedy. Everyone knows the cause of this and everybody is with it.
If hardcore has taught me anything, it's the do-it-yourself mentality. Whether that's making a zine or starting a band or booking shows and stuff like that. And I saw a cause that I wanted to get behind, and I did it myself. That's been the process. I've had a lot of help, from my friends and a lot of support from the hospital. But yeah, it's definitely been like, myself, getting out there and reaching out to these bands, reaching out to venues, reaching out to, anything like that. There's no sponsorship. There's no anything like that. This is just stripped down to ourselves, do it myself.
Just straight up hardcore show to benefit.
Bam, that is exactly what it is.
Okay, I'm gonna cut you a song real quick, and then we'll come back. I have a few more questions we'll go over.
Very cool.
All right, that's it for that one. I don't want to go over the